Yaw, thank you for coming and joining me, man, and speaking to me today. Really, what I was trying to, how would you categorise your job title? Because I feel like you're a man of many different traits at the minute. I feel like you've got your fingers in everything, man. What's
mad? I do not see it like that, and I do worry. I've always had concern that it'll just seem like I do just random stuff.
Yeah.
But to me, I think there's the things I like doing, and I think I do well. I think there's a very close editorial to it.
Okay.
Like, it makes sense. There's a link. You know, I like, more than anything, I just love stories. I love anything that has a story and a narrative and a position. So I don't program festivals. The reason why I program LIMF is because I feel like there's a narrative to Liverpool and why LIMF was needed and why LIMF needed to be a certain thing.
Yes.
So it's the story that makes me want to do it. Same with like artists. There's loads of artists around. There's loads of good artists. I tend to want to manage or work with artists that have something that they're just trying to say.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes me quite interested. So like even someone like Sub Blue, the interesting thing with Sub Blue was he had a voice, he had a look when I first met him when he was 16, but I loved the idea of helping him carve out a voice.
Yeah.
Like an actual like narrative. So the suburban blues thing, and him talking about, okay, well I'm not from the hood and I'm not from here, but
it's from his perspective.
Story, that's all. And to see that, for people to understand that's where lies, you know, satisfaction for me professionally. So like, again, you know, if I look at all the things I do, that's what I believe connects them. So it's very easy for me to go, I don't do that, and I will do this, even if it's what people might perceive as different jobs. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So like, you know, I used to have a magazine. I used to do quite a lot around media-based stuff. I don't do as much now, but as a company we still do it. But again, I dip my toe in when I believe there's a purpose to it. There's a story there.
So how did it start for you then? Say young 16-year-old. What got your creative juices flowing, man? Like in.
Well, you know what, music. Like what's quite interesting is I was always into music, and I consume music, and probably from when I was 8, I was definitely in juniors in primary school, and I remember hearing I Need Love by LL Cool J in my older cousin called Reggie, his house, and he played it to me, and from that moment I was like bewildered by this sound. And bear in mind, at the same time I was into, you know, Michael Jackson and Bros and stuff like that. So I was a normal pop kid, but something about the hip hop thing interested me. And I remember then in probably I was about 7, I was born in 83. So probably when I was 7, 1990, I remember Tupac now, and I remember there was a show called, I forget what it was, this guy called Normski, and it was on BBC 2, and I remember seeing some piece on Public Enemy there, so I was very interested in this kind of radical thing about hip-hop that was kind of like, you could be proud of all the things that would make you feel insecure. So I was bitten by the bug of that thing, so I was very much on hip-hop from like a kid. Like obviously I was consuming this very, what people might call volatile, you know, bad language, this, that and the other, but I was already at 10 years old able to distill it and understanding what it meant.
Yeah, what was behind that.
So I consumed, you know, I was buying an album a week by the time I was 12, 13. I had 400 or 500 CDs and tapes by the time I was like 18, 17, 18. Just consumed it. No interest in being involved in the music industry at this point. I was playing basketball at quite a high level, so I just wanted to play basketball. I wanted to be a professional basketball player. And then in school, I'd done quite well in school, but I was doing stuff like media as a way to just do stuff. I love clipping together videos, but that was more because, again, this was before MTV Base and all that stuff. So I was getting my friend who had Sky tape Yo MTV Raps, and then I'd take the tapes and I'd cut together my own tapes, so I'd have video after video after video. That's what I was interested in. Do you know? It was more about me just being a consumer and collector, and the way it didn't come across them, but probably a curator of stuff. And kind of just going, okay, I like that. I don't really like that, but I'll put this in there. So I was just doing that, taping Tim Westwood and Mark Tonderai every week.
Oh, you know, man, they were the shows.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what I was into. But it was a consumer, it was a fan. And then I went to university and done a law degree. And then my last year of law, I transferred. Long story, so I'm not going to get into it. But I transferred universities, and I took some extra modules because I was ahead. I don't know how I was, because when I went to my third year of uni, I was actually borderline not even getting a third. But then my last year, because I transferred, I was actually heading credit, so I took 2 classes. One of them was African American Studies, so that kind of then had gave me this further understanding of music.
Like a heritage aspect.
Yeah, well, just understanding how, you know, before hip hop, where did, like, I very much looking at the 50s. So it was like looking at soul music, and how soul music reflected what was going on in the society, and then the civil rights movement and all that. And then that just turned me on to kind of, okay, music's this bigger thing that I already knew, but I only knew it in the context of hip hop. Just intrigued me, and then I come out of university, and my cousin's a guy called Cove, and he'd moved up here from East London, so he was round bubbling when, you know,
yeah, man, I remember.
Grime. So then Cove come up here, he gets his first show, yo, do you want to work together? And then I just fell into it, but I was 21 by the time I fell into doing anything in music, and it was more me just going, well, these artists, I understand context of stuff. I love Rockefeller and Bad Boy and all that, so I was very interested in like t-shirts and all, you know, the sproutings off of it. And we just started this thing called Air Beats, and it was me and him, and then we started working with other artists, and it just snowballed. And then, you know, I look up, and literally 15 years this October, this is where it's come to. But within that space, I've just constantly been open to different stuff, and then let that passion just continue to drive whatever I'm doing. So it's going back to the 6-year-old lad that I was really into basketball. I listened to music, hip hop music. I was fanatical about both things.
It's just transcended and led to something else.
Like, I ain't talking about it because I think there's no big win. I'm not at that space where it's like, oh my god, this means anything. It doesn't really. But I think what I'm saying is reflective of what loads of people in my generation, yourself, would probably have gone through in terms of having that access. You know, because I remember again, I think one of my biggest moments was when I was 20 and we got MTV Bass in the house, and then I remember seeing how that everywhere, you know, from like, and especially like the R&B stuff, so like Nelly and Kelly and Ja Rule and Ashanti and all that. And when I just remember going, everybody knew hip hop and everybody knew R&B.
I used to watch Nelson, and that was like the program to go to for music. If you were a young boy growing up, like the UK, you were listening to R&B and hip hop, like MTV Bass, and those programs were pioneering.
Like
man.
So even when I went to see Trevor Nelson last year, 2 years ago, when I was trying to get him interested in LIMF and the exhibition and all that stuff that we ended up doing with him, and we were talking, and I was like, me and my wife, I was saying, you raised like me and my wife, like we grew up like separately. I didn't know her then, but I was like, you know, there's a whole generation of people that you raised, your voice raised like your selection of music, and you know, I feel lucky that almost like, not that it's come full circle because I'm far from finished, but like I feel blessed that some of those people I'm able to work with now or help. You know what I mean? Again, Wiley's another one. I remember when I was in uni, listening to his music, and then to go and then work with Wiley and help him as he set this label up and be close to him, even if it was only for 18 months to a 2-year period, but like learn from him. To me, it's unbelievable to have him on LIMF last year, where he lived just round the corner from there, and I'm going there every single day, and you know what I mean? It's like, to me, it's incredible. Do you know what I mean? To my business partner now, one of the people who set up One Extra was probably, I consider, in terms of broadcast, he's probably the most important black professional in the UK. I speak to him 20 times a day. I'm a business partner. Do you know what I mean? I remember when he was this person that I used to go to BBC Yalding's house and look at him, and this guy's like this formidable person. You know, to be able to kind of sit down and understand how he put stuff together in his process. Again, I don't think I'm finished, but it's just all that passion and that, you know, thing that just drives everything with me. Do you know what I mean? What
is it about the artists that you've worked with that they recognise in you, which makes them go, yeah, you're the perfect person to collaborate with?
I always say that I'm just there. No, I don't know. You know, like anyone, if I'm honest, I have an insecurity about that, because I think, you know, I've had moderate success of getting people from a certain stage to either being signed or being a national thing, and then I've worked with other entities and worked with trying to make sure connecting them to like grassroots and stuff. And I do, you know, sometimes I do think, oh, people just go because I'm not the easiest person, but like, you know, I will work with someone from the beginning. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, but at the same time, I don't know. You know, I've heard people talk about me in my presence and when I'm not around, and I think people just know that I'm passionate about stuff, and very, 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 very loyal in the sense of like to their dream. But I don't know what they look.
I've always understood that you've had like a strong work ethic from when you were when you were growing up, young teenager. Like I know a few people who like acquaintances of yours, and they've always said when they were out maybe doing the partying thing, you were the one who was like, right, you'd be studying the music, you'd have your head in the books, and it was always about looking for maybe that opportunity which might get your foot in the door or anything like that.
Well, that's one thing I can say with certainty. There's very few people who I know that would ever outwork me. Like, even now, you know, I've got a family and, you know, I've got loads of other things I need to do. But it's going to be hard for someone to outwork me or outthink me. Like, I'm pretty confident with that. Just the way, you know, like, again, people look at some of the stuff I do and the amount of stuff I do. And some people might go, oh, he just does LIMF. And that's a full-time job, technically. But I've got 2 other businesses, you know, record label, I've got artists. Manager artist is a full-time job. So if I'm managing 3 artists and 4 DJs, I'm working these and consulting on different things, and the LIMF Academy and the music festival and programming different events as a consultant. And, you know, to do that, you've either got to work, you know, loads of hours, but I can't physically do that because I've got a family and I think I'm quite devoted to that. Or you just got to be really smart. And I think, again, when I was 21 to 27, 28, I learned quickly how to cut stuff out. That was luxury. So like, very rarely you wouldn't see me. Even now, you would never see me anywhere if I'm not working. You know what I mean? And I had to do that. And you know, you lose a bit of social life for that. But I mean, when I had a part-time job. I was a youth worker, part-time, probably £300 a month, if that, even that. And then I had an office in town and we were starting the business. So my thing was, I have about £3 a day to live off. So I can't be out drinking beer or, you know, partying. If I'm out, I need to be earning some money from somewhere. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, I was just like that way inclined, and I'd do stuff like I'd go and work at the youth club, work in the office all day, leave town at 5:30, go to the youth club, work till 9:30, go back to the office, work all night, literally work through the day, and then go back to the youth club at 6, come back and then go back to the office, work all night. Do you get what I'm saying? So I was doing 60 hours and doing that part-time job just to make it work for the first 3 years. So then in 2008, I was able to leave the youth work job and do this full-time. So I'm 11 years now. Again, not saying it means anything, but to me, I was like, you know, this is my own thing, and I've been able to do it full-time for 11 because that first 4 years, that's all I'd done. I just worked, do you know what I mean? And credit to Kofu, who, you know, started their beats with me, and we reached it every day because he used to do the same thing. I wouldn't want to go home because he weren't going home, do you know what I mean? We put out so much music during that time and done so much stuff and shot documentaries and had a radio show and had a magazine and all this stuff. We were just like driven, like, but I was like that with basketball. So my attitude come from how I was with basketball. I just wanted to be the best. I wanted to perfect every element of it. Do you know what I mean? Including strategy stuff. I remember my coach when I was a bit older saying, "I found it hard to coach you." My coach was from the States. This was when I was like 20, sorry. And he was like, "I find it hard to coach you because you know everything I know." But I was adamant that I want to physically be good, but I also want to know everything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I was like that with, you know, at the time when we started it, I was like that with music. I wanted to know everything. I wanted to know who all the movers and shakers were. I wanted to plot how I was going to work with these people at the right time. And yeah, so I would agree with, like, it's hard to outwork me. It's hard to think, and you know, it's only 1 or 2 people who can catch me forgetting something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
What's people's first impression of you when you first meet you?
Don't know, you should tell me.
Because I don't know, I just get this very driven, focused minded man, but I can see how maybe in a certain type of room that could be seen as, wait there, this kid's trying to move in on our thing here.
You know what's mad? Because, and it's interesting you say that, because I don't have that perception, because I always think when people tell me that people are intimidated by me or don't want to come up to me and speak to me, I'm like, me? Mad. I think I'm the coolest, most open person. Do you know what I mean? But I am I'm not saying I'm an enigma or nothing. But like, again, okay, I was at Africa, in the weekend with my son, and we were going around. I was speaking to different people. My son's nearly 6. Going around, And I was saying hello to people and, you know, whatever. And he said, oh, you know a lot of people. And I was like, that's how I feel. I feel like I'm cool with anyone, you know, no one's there. Like, you find it hard pressed to find someone, I believe, that would go legitimately, oh, I went to Yaw and he's a prick. Do you know what I mean? Or, he, you know, he didn't get back to my email. Or, that never. So I'm like, I feel like no one should ever be a thing. But I do know when I'm in a room and I've got a reason to be there, and that reason means that I'm going to be a thorn in your side, then I'm going to be a thorn in your side, do you know what I mean? Because I said I'm a consultant sometimes, so like, I know there's a lot of people in probably Liverpool City Council that don't like me around. Yeah. But the upshot of me being around is what LIMF looks like. Again, I'm not saying that's only because of me, because it's definitely not only because of me, but what I'm saying is, there's times when there's got to be, you know, a little bit of, you know, even with artists, you know, I know Sub Blue, we have conversations sometimes, you just go off the phone and fuck you. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to just, you know, but again, you know, my business partner Ray, he's like that with me. You know, sometimes I've got something. You have to say it and you've got to do it. And it's that thing, steal, sharp and steal, innit? Do you know what I mean? And you've got to be that way. My mum was like that all through my life. I remember going from the teens and going, she doesn't like me, man. Everything she said, she's moaning. I get it now, though. I get it because, you know, I'm responsible and I'm driven and, you know, I always say it's like sometimes people have a lot of people around them that kind of just let them do what they want because they think that's support, and I've kind of come from a thing where that's not support, because what it is you can't live the world's not like that. The world's not as soft and nice as your siblings and your family, do you know what I mean? Sometimes you need a bit of heart, you know. My mum's from Jamaica, come over here when she was 17, 18, so her view on life and what we've got to do here and what's important is very different, and she's made me understand that, do you know what I mean? Same with my dad came over here and he's had to do the same thing, and they've made certain sacrifices so we could have a certain life and see certain things, so they're going to make me understand that, and I agree with it, because again, me and my siblings, every single one of us are like, I think we've all got that, do you know what I mean? Yeah. You know, I wouldn't change it for that. So people, again, if people perceive me as being like very driven, well, that's correct. If they perceive me as being someone who's volatile, then got it twisted. Yeah, because
you can see how people can take that, because some people get
I don't like waste of time, that's the only thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So if people again, if you know, I don't know, and again, you know, I have a different thing. I work for myself, innit? And I work for, so with that comes a very certain, you know, I read a saying that said, your children will be starving or thriving in 10 years based on what you do today. And every time I see this thing and it pops up, I always go, shit, okay, well, I can't just waste my time, do you know what I mean? If I give someone an hour or give someone 2 hours or I dedicate myself to it, I've just got to do it, I've got to do it well, because that's what secures tomorrow. So people are wasting my time. And I get it with a lot of artists, because again, I'm very open to artists, because I never felt we had the support when me and Coach started off. So when I was sending people music and they wouldn't reply, I tried to reply, but then, you know me, you'll get one good sit down with me, and then if you just go and do whatever, which is your prerogative, but I'm saying, if you go and do whatever and waste my time, then I'm going to be a little less passionate about your thing the next time, and a little bit less the next time, and that's just the way it is, you know what I mean? So, but I'm learning that anyway, I'm just learning that, but I think that's interesting, you said that.
What is it that you look for, man? Right, you're looking for an artist now, or the way artists are now. What is it, like, the key ingredients for you, which go, you know what, I can work with this individual and we can possibly make something happen?
Again, it's just, I've just got to see, like, I remember seeing Sam for the first time. I seen Zambolo. And
oh, what a talent.
Well, his thing with his music was really interesting, and if I'm recall, because I mentored him through the academy, and then I started working with him once he finished his time in the academy, and I just remember having certain conversations with him where he'd be like, what do you think of this? And it's quite interesting, because why he said he wants to go, because he was very standoffish during the whole academy process with me and pretty much everyone, but I mean, after it, he said what attracted me to him, strangely enough, was I felt he had something. And he had this tune called Rescue Me, which is quite interesting. It was when a lot of the police violence against young black males was around, and it was very visual, and he was producing everything, and it was a bit raw, but I felt there was something there. It was like, and I could see where it could fit in the industry, whether or not it was me that could help with him or someone else. And I was just intrigued by it. And then we had conversations, and he said what intrigued him, what made him want to work with me, he said, was because he brought the music to me, and I didn't just say it was great and good and let's put it out. I challenged him on it. So I think it was a dual thing with him, do you know what I mean? It's like, as good as he is, I think I was adding some balance, and it's something that I always like to believe. It's I used to have this saying on my WhatsApp called something. It was like something about. No, it was on my Instagram when I had Instagram. It was like something about being lopsided, and it's a Jay-Z quote. And I just always had this thing about sometimes we need balance in it. So sometimes I've got to be the balancer. So if an artist is here and he's like, or she is like, I know everything, and you're amazing. Sometimes you need someone to just balance you and go, but have you thought about this?
Yeah. Another perspective on things.
Same with LIMF. I always look at LIMF and go, or music strategy in Liverpool. It's like, yeah, cool, we're great, but are we that good? Or what about the young new artists? Or what about people from the black community? Or she just had a little bit of balance.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So I think it was again with Tyler as well. Tyler's cousin was putting them onto me, and he put this EP out when he was Tyler Mentor, so Sub Blue, and he was Tyler Mentor, and he put this EP out, and I think it done well numbers wise. And I remember going, yeah, but I just don't. I'm not sure how this would work more broadly than a kid from Cheshire putting it out. I think that's a novelty, but where will that go in 5 or 6 years? How does he enter the marketplace? How does he make it? So it was me again. I feel like just, you know what I mean, looking at it and going, there's something here, and I feel like it could work on an international level. Because think about how many people of colour, not just colour, but people of, I'm going to say people of colour as a wide thing, don't live in the atypical areas and live the typical life that you'd assume, but have a different narrative.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
It's kind of like Freshman.
Yeah.
Example, but like, Will Smith was like, he's from Philly, but he moves to this place, but then there's a narrative of how you fit in. Do you fit in? Do you belong? How do you keep original? How do you stay real? How do you do you know what I mean? How do you grow? So I was like, okay, well, here's this kid that has the look, has the great vocal sound, you know what I mean? Really got the energy to be in it. It's part of a bracket where it's probably the best bracket to be in if you're starting to do something as a teenager at the time. But he's got to tell the story, and his story is the same as Frank Ocean's story, and Tyler Creator's story, and the kids who grew up in a nice part of France, and So I felt like there was this move. Drake, Drake was the thing. Drake didn't come from squalor.
Yeah.
He was a suburban kid, and he's talking, and this is where the phrase come from, suburban blue. So when he was talking about changing his name from Tyler Mentor, I don't know if anyone knows the story, to another name. The phrase we talked about was his music he was making was suburban blues, because it was like what I call and my thing was directly from Drake. I was like, Drake does suburban blues. It's blues music. He's complaining about life, but he's got everything. And I was like, this is like when you go to suburbia and kids, my brother only got a BMW for his 18th, but that was the thing. So I was like, this is kind of like what Tyler was telling me about his friends would do, you know what I mean? But then there's the dark side to it, going, well, yeah, and the parents give them 20 quid a day because both parents work and they don't get home till 8, so give him £20 a day, and then he goes and snorts coke after school, and he's 14. But so I was like, you need to tell the story, because there's so many people who'll be able to relate. Because if you listen to Super Rich Kids by Frank Ocean, for example, that's what he's talking about in that record. Yeah. So I was like, there's a story here, there's a narrative, and there's a narrative that you can tell, and no one can ever say it's wrong, because it's your truth. And it means you don't have to do the generic love songs, or you don't have to do the generic I'm from the hood thing, because you're not. Do you know what I mean? So that intrigued me about him. Sam, same thing. Sam had this whole idea about like jazz, soul, fusion stuff. Very visual. He told me about his debut album before he made one song for it. Everything.
So he already had it encapsulated, like the vision.
15 songs, interludes, track 1 playing over track 15. All that existed before it even existed. So obviously you're sitting there and I'm like, what am I gonna do? Because I can't make music. I'm not one of those people. But if I don't want to work with someone, like, what the hell am I doing? You know what I mean? At least I've got to try and help them get to the next stage. Do you know what I mean? Or at least get that music out, or and I think sometimes people, it's not that they can't do it on their own. I think sometimes people just need someone to jump on the boat with them and go, I'm just with you. Whoever, like Sam could look back and go, well, Yaw helped me loads and he helped me do it. Or he could actually just go, well, Yaw just give me the confidence to do it. I'm happy with either. I'm happy to either be the person who is the linchpin in it happening, or I'm happy to just be the person that made people believe they could do it. You know what I mean? And again, when I choose, like LIMF is a prime example, I was interested in LIMF mainly because the challenge of it, so a similar way to choosing the artist, like I felt like Liverpool music could be something more than what it was back in 2013.
But you've seen the change already.
Well, I seen what was I seen what was happening, whether or not the city wanted to be a part of it or not.
Was that
because the writing was on the wall? You know what I mean? Already, it was like, you can't tell me that it's still just guitar bands and it's this and it's tribute bands, because I know I can see what's happening with Music Week. I can see what's happening in, you know.
So was that a frustrating conversation to have, because you're someone you've got quite a wide range of music, like you said, you can see styles and trends which are coming up. So what is it like when you're trying to almost advise someone who doesn't see it that way?
Well, you know, with LIMF, with the city council, as difficult as people think, the system, breaking the systems and making people change the way they think is the hardest part. But they were already willing to do so because the boss, Joe Anderson, had said we need a music festival that reflects what the city is really like. So, you know, if I'm one of those solutions, and I will say one of those solutions in terms of what I'm going to do with LIMF, half the battle's already done, because the directive is we've got to change what we're doing. The challenge then becomes the smaller ones, the day-to-day ones. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I want about this artist, and I know your system's this but this is the industry and the way the industry expects it. No, I don't want to do that. I want the logo to be pink. Oh, okay. You know, it's them thing. Or
yeah.
I want you to work. I want these two departments to work a lot closer together, because to me it makes sense for this project. That's the hardest one. But they've got to run the city at the same time. So I'm really very respectful of what Liverpool City Council's real job is. But again, you know, okay, the Damian Marley thing's a prime example. First year at LIMF, not only did we have like JLS and Little Mix and all that on the waterfront, but we also had Damian Marley in the park, and you know, for them to trust me, yeah. You know, he's a Rasta man, and he doesn't work in the way that everybody else works, but he's a legend, and he will fill the pot. Just trust me. You know, to the point where, you know, he's turned up on site 40 minutes after he's meant to be on stage, but it worked out, and I think that level of trust both ways has been good. They let me speak my mind.
Yeah.
And it's been 7 years, so this will be the 7th festival this year. So, you know, just the proof in the pudding that it can work. I'll be lying if I say I'm not frustrated every day by something that occurs.
Yeah.
But as a consultant, that's the thing. I don't own the entity, so I've got to go in and be able to work with them to get the best out of what they do. Same with an artist. I can't make music, so I can't make Sam make a record, even if I know how the type of record he should make. So it's always a level of frustration. But I think it's how you empower that platform or that person or that creative or that company. And I always say, like, the major thing that you want as a consultant, as I would like to call myself more than a manager, is you want to get to a point where like a parent, like I always think of it like my son. I want my son to get to a point in his teenage years where I don't have to say what's right or what's wrong, or I don't have to, you know what I mean? I want to get to a point where he just internalises it, because he's got to that point. So same with Liverpool City Council, whoever, Sam or whatever. I want to get to a point where I just may be standing next to you. I won't necessarily be telling you what to do. I don't want to be the artist whisperer or the person who has to go, do this, you know. I want them to actually go, okay, and then maybe my role slightly changes and I'm just helping make it.